retired faculty, most of whom are dead now, who were here at Huntingdon then. The debates about civil rights and about social justice and social holiness did not take place just in the chapel at annual conference. It took place in classrooms, in the dining hall, and offices and residence halls. Huntingdon's record was not spotless during that time. Huntingdon, as was the case with many small institutions in the connection, was resistant to change. But gradually Huntingdon evolved, and I think one of the great things we've done in the last 20 years is evolved to be an institution that's embraced the 21st century. That was not always the case here. I'd like to say over the last 20 years that the conversation then and the conversation now on campus is about the very meaning of the American experiment, expressed in the foundational documents of this nation, as well as the church's prophetic mission expressed in Scripture, which obviously are not identical, but which are complementary and inform each other. One of Yaroslav Pelikan's great series of lectures addresses that whole issue. So in Montgomery, where you are now, many of you for the first time, the struggles of the Civil War not only began here in the mid-19th century, but they began to receive their full definition in the mid-20th century. Which brings us to today, in a nation and state blessed by incredible riches, but where the marginalized still struggle to realize the basic happiness promised in the Declaration of Independence and the full equality promised in Scripture. We believe that it's incumbent upon the College of the Church to foster an environment where we continue to fathom the most fundamental issues of human life. That's what we're about. If we're not about that, my dad, my late father, who was president at Pfeiffer and dean when I was growing up, if we don't embrace that as a College of the Church, he said, Cam, when you go there, embrace that kind of discussion. Otherwise, you're just, in his words, another little shirt tail liberal arts college. Embrace that. Claim that as your mission. And so our mission is to encourage students and faculty and staff and alumni and trustees and friends like you to learn what it means to live justly and responsibly as individuals in community. We believe that a man's, a woman's individual calling in life receives its full meaning only when we live in service to a larger community. And in my mind, that's the constant push and pull of the American experiment, the tension between individualism and community, and I would submit also a major theme in the push and pull of Christian spirituality. Now, I would expect somewhere along the way this weekend that theme to arise in your discussion. I would hope. It's certainly implicit, if not explicit, in the theme of your conference. And I'm going to be, I won't be in your fellowship circle, I understand that's for the elect. But I'll be at the reports on Sunday morning, and Bishop Jones and I, and Mr. Moore, Dr. Moore, and I will have a chance to have a conversation about a number of these things on Sunday morning, and I'll be interested to hear what you have to say as we talk on Sunday morning and as I hear the reports from your working groups. I look forward to learning from you. There's no better place to gather to explore the theme of this conference than Montgomery, a very complex place, but a place where if you dig in, the light does shine, and the New Jerusalem can be reached. So thank you all for being here tonight.
And we thank you all again for hosting us. I was telling the President, that I've only had opportunity to visit with a number of students and staff coming in. They didn't know who any of us were necessarily, but it was always fun to ask. So, did you graduate from here? And I've got witnesses to this that were in the band. Yeah, graduated from Huntingdon. And tell us who some of your favorite professors were. And they listed John Wesley Fellows in the religion department. And that was really fun to get to hear. Among a few other professors, but you all made the list. We cannot thank Steve Sowers enough. He has just done a brilliant. I know all of the folks, I know there's a lot more people that have been a part of that than just Stephen, but I wanted to particularly call Stephen out. He'll give us directions in just a minute. I want to make sure, though, that we also just recognize Ian Rowe. Where's Ian? There's Ian, his daughter Camille. They're right here. Bill, you're here from Ian tomorrow. And then David Daniels. David, there you are, David. David was part of this group that Doug Strong led to Benin, Africa. And so we just all got in last night together, a group of us, Joy Moore, Doug, Matt, and a few people. Now, I just have to tell you this, because I got to know David on this trip. He was in the room in the guest house directly across from mine, on the little guest house we were in. David taught a class from Benin online at 1 a.m. in the morning. He was on a couple of he's on the board of Christian Century. They had a board meeting. He was a part of it from Benin. He was on one of his committee responsibilities. I went to bed. All of you should feel like slackers too. It was just terrific. You'll hear from him tonight, and you'll just know what a joy it is to be a part, David, of the trip with you, and just to share together. Just terrific. Robert Beckham's here. Where's Robert? Right here, who's with the Soma Foundation, and so be sure and thank Robert. Todd Still is here from Baylor, the dean at Baylor. Where are you, Todd? There, right here in the front too. I'm sorry I missed you right there. And Truett from Baylor. And then, of course, we want to thank Paul and Kitten for coming. It's great to see Paul and Kitten. And you may have seen Paul Casper back taking pictures. So Paul has done that for us at a number of Christmas conferences. And it's just terrific. And, of course, it's especially great to have our newly funded fellows here. So newly funded fellows, would you all just stand up so people can see you? Matt has been working with them. They'll lead us in some of our devotional times, our special times together there, and you'll hear more about them in the fellowship circle. But we're ready for dinner, so I'm going to turn it to Steve Sowers. He's going to give us some directions on where and when and how.
Well, if you don't know how to eat dinner, I can't help you. I'll tell you the when, which is now, and then I'll give you the where. Thank you all for being here. I do, before we all scatter, I want to call attention to the Huntingdon faculty members who are here, because if you have a question, if you get lost, if you get turned around, you might recognize these people. So, Diana, will you stand up, please? And Lane, Jason Borders, Eric Kidwell, Bria Rochelle Stevens, Brett Butler, Sarah Sowers. We are all locals, so if you need a question, grab them. So thank you.
How many are John versus Doe?
4 of us, Lane and me and Sarah and Diana, and a half. Austin Rivera is also a fellow and taught here 2 years ago. So wonderful. This is Smith Hall, and we're going to be in here tomorrow. You were in Flowers Hall for the reception. That's where we're going to have worship, and our breakout groups are going to be there tomorrow. Sort of right behind this building, next to Flowers, is the library, And that's where our reception is tomorrow after we get back from EJI. So the buses will bring you right up in front of Flowers, but you won't go into Flowers, you'll just go to the building behind that, next to it. And then the dining hall is a 2-minute walk this way. So maybe a couple of the Huntingdon faculty can lead the way, and we were just going to walk back to the dining hall, and that's where we're going to have our first talk from Dr. Daniels. After dinner, the fellows will come back to Flowers for the canonical fellowship circle for the AFTE fellows. If you are not an AFTE fellow, you are welcome to still come back to Flowers. The conference room is going to be open, and you can visit there for a little bit. You're welcome to grab a glass of wine and have a walk around the green. It is beautiful out there. And then if you're staying for worship, most people will be staying for worship because the bus isn't leaving until after worship. After the fellowship time, there will be worship in Flowers, and then the buses will take you back to the hotel. So, faculty, if you'll lead the way, we'll slowly make our way over to the
Steve, do you want to say a blessing here, or are you going to say one over here?
I'll say a blessing here. Lord, we give you thanks for bringing us all here safely. We thank you for the Advent season when we can anticipate the arrival of your Son. We give you thanks for all the blessings that you have in store for us this weekend, and especially now for the food that we're about to eat and for those that have prepared it. Bless our fellowship this evening, we pray. In Christ's name, amen.